من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد عباد الله اعلموا أن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة كل ضلالة في النار. As you heard the announcement, the title of this talk is مكانة المسجد في تربية الشباب. And this is the role of a masjid in the lives of young people or youth. If you remember the seerah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as soon as he walked to the city of Medina sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, one of the first things that he did was to establish a masjid. And in this masjid, the purpose of the masjid was not for it to be a place of worship where somebody wants to pray, he comes, and as soon as he leaves the salah, he's done with his salah, he leaves the masjid. It wasn't a place only for i'tikaf during the month of Ramadan. It wasn't a place for Jum'ah and Eid alone. Masjid al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in a modern technology or terminology, is, which means the masjid had everything for the community members. There was a place in the masjid for the students of knowledge, such as Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu. When he wanted to learn the deen, he came and he moved into the masjid so he can learn the deen of Allah from the lips of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It was also a social place where the Sahaba of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would come together and they will sit together and they will remember what they used to do the days of Jahiliyyah. They used to do the stupid things that they used to do. They used to remember the stupid things that they used to do in the past. The Sahaba of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would sit in the masjid of Rasulullah, he's sitting with them, and they would tell what they did in the past. Not to brag about it, not to feel proud of what they did, the ma'asah that they commit, but to show the rest of the world how stupid was those things. And sometimes Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu used to laugh so loud that sometimes he used to flip backward. Now if a young man comes to the masjid nowadays and he laughs in the masjid, we will tell him what he showed, wa masajid mashiyam. You know, be quiet, this is a masjid, do not raise your voice. The masjid al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was literally a community center. Sometimes young people like Abdullah ibn Umar and his likes, he used to come to the masjid, used to wrestle in the masjid. Wrestling in the masjid. And the referee is the messenger of Allah and the Sahaba. These two young boys, they're wrestling right here, and they would never be scolded. They were never told, stop doing this. You know, stop being active in the masjid, because that was the purpose of the masjid. So let us talk about مكانة المسجد في تربية الشباب. what masjid can give back to the community? See, what we do nowadays, and forgive me, do not take this personal. Masajid, mashallah, became places that we generate money, collect funds, erect walls, build beautiful facilities, and then keep it neat and clean 24/7. But that was not the case for the Masjid al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It wasn't. So what can the masjid do for the youth? This is what I want to talk about today. What can the masjid do for our shabab? What can they do for you? And I'm not talking about this masjid. I'm talking about the masjid that is in the city of Mecca. I'm talking about the masajid in the city of New York City. I'm talking about the masajid in Mogadishu and Barbaarinta and Hargeisa and Burra. I'm talking about the masajid in every city in the Muslim world and the Western world. What are the purpose of the masajid? And how can they serve youth? The older generation need to understand, and I do consider myself one of the older generation. We have to understand our role is perhaps to build, secure, and facilitate for the youth to inhabit, to live in and be part of the masjid activity. Not to run day-to-day activity. Not to hold on to the leadership as though if they let it go, the masjid would be sold next day by this reckless, useless, unintelligent youth, which is not the case. See, majority of your young people, you could have been somewhere else. You could have been, sitting in your basement or in your home, going through your Facebook account, texting people, chatting with girls, talking with boys, but you said no to that and you came to the house of Allah. Why? Because you want to learn and you want to be proactive Muslim youth who will pave the way for the upcoming generation. So the older generation need to understand it is for them to guide, not to lead, because the new leaders must come to play immediately. And that is you. So let's list what the masjid can do for you. First, it is the responsibility of the masajid to have education entities in the masajid, which majority of masajid, we do it, but we do it wrong. How so? We still use the same old fashioned. In my little village, Gurundala, Amahara Sheikh, majority of you don't know what that is. We had a way of learning this deen. We had a certain way of memorizing Quran. Bringing that methodology to Sweden or to Toronto or to New York City, it will not work. It will not work. So what do I need to do? So as someone who lives in the West, I have to rethink the way of education, Islamic education, that I am presenting to these young people. First, the idea of teaching through fear must leave the building. Your child, and I'm talking about your student, if your student does not come to the masjid out of love, if the boy or that little girl is not coming to the masjid with passion, bothering their parents saying, drive me to the masjid, I don't want to miss the halaqah, I don't want to be there after the sheikh comes, I don't want to be the last person who attends the halaqah. If that is not the attitude of the youth, that is something wrong with this education system that we have in the masjid. If you have to drag your child from home Or if you tell them, if you don't do this, I will cut the internet. I will change the password for the Wi-Fi. I will take your smartphone from you. If you don't do your Quran, you will not watch this show. You will not participate in this. Then something is wrong with that education system. So the masajid have to rethink and say, wait a second. This is not working. Look at the masajid and consider this a triangle. When the children are young and they come to the masajid, almost at the age of 7, 8, 9, almost 10, 11, they almost 100%, the bottom of the triangle is packed, it's full. Every teacher is saying, I can't handle these kids. But imagine this triangle as the angle gets sharper. As they grow in age, the number decreases. The children who used to be here, when we used to have 100 students in this masjid, or at Sakina, or Khalid bin Walid, or Abu Huraira, or any other masjid, that number with age decreases. What does it mean? It means this young boy who left the masjid could not find what he was looking for in the masjid. He couldn't find that. So he had to look somewhere else. I have some kids, wallahi alladhi la ilaha illahu. I have some kids in my neighborhood who used to come to the masjid, whom his mother would say, that boy, forget about Quran, forget about Salah. He does not want to be in the vicinity of the masjid. Why? He said he hates the teacher. The teacher used to hit him, or used to punish him, or used to take him his cell phone, or he used to say, you will not have any entertainment. And the boy hated the Quran classes, hated the fiqh classes, hated this teacher, hated the deen of Allah, hated the Islam in totality, and now he does not even consider himself as a Muslim. Now who's responsible? Who's responsible? I want to hear that. Who's responsible? The masjid and the teachers. Because the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Kullu mawlud, every single child is born in a state of fitrah. And when the child is 5 years old, or 6 years old, 7 years old, and he comes to you, and he's as clean as this, tissue, pure, it is you who corrupted that child. It is you who made him dislike the Quran. It is you who made that little girl hate the hijab. It is you who forced them to have a split personality. Personality at the masjid, personality with the friends, personality at home, personality at schools, and personality in the neighborhood. It is the teaching of the institution. So the first thing that this masajid and Islamic institution needs to understand is they have to change their old traditional method of delivering the message of Islam to the young people. That is first. So you facilitate a place where they can learn, where they can educate themselves, where they love the deen of Allah, but you change the method according to what is happening. 2017. In Japan, in their public schools, teachers, they go to the cafeteria and they have the food 15 minutes before the students. You know why? Do you think they love themselves more than they love their students? Do you think they want to first eat so they can be comfortable while the children coming in? Because the children, they all have ADD or ADHD. No. They said, we want to eat the food and see if anything is wrong with the food. The food could be poison. And since the children are our future, we got to risk our lives for their sake. This is Japanese teachers. The teacher is willing to risk his or her life to make sure that I will drink this before the boy that I'm teaching or the little girl that I'm teaching drinks it. So the water is clean and pure, and that no harm will come to that child. Now that is a murabbi. That is a teacher. Not a teacher who hasn't been good, mashallah, tabarakallah. And then when you go home, already the teacher called your mother and he said, this little boy, he did not do any of his homework. So make sure you disconnect the Wi-Fi from home. So not that he's, seeing you at the mission, hating you, but you follow him to his house. You're nothing but a ghost. Evil ghosts are chasing this child. Number 2, the masjid must find, it is not an option, brothers and sisters, must establish entertainment center for the youth. Entertainment center. And I mean recreational. I mean when they can come and play video game. Yes, they can come and play Xbox. They can come and play PlayStation. They can come and they have Wi-Fi where they can connect the kid with their friends with no charge. The masjid must have that. Why? Because it's logic. It's a kid. You are a child. When you are a child, as I'm talking about to the teachers and to the adults, when you were a kid, what was the first thing on your list? Fun. Having fun, playing with your friends, entertaining yourself. Why was it halal for you to have those feelings, but it's haram for them to have it? When the public education is given to them. When if they go to the church would give it to them. When they go to YMCA, the YMCA will facilitate for them. What do you have YMCA? What does YMCA stands for? Young Men Christian Association. So the Christian nation said, our children not learning the Bible, not learning the Christianity based on old tradition way. When the child will sit and memorize or learn the passage from the Bible. So what do? We bring this Christian young men and women, and then we let them have fun. Ali bin Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu used to say, Al-hikmah, dalatul mu'min. He said, wisdom is something that a Muslim seeks. He looks for a wisdom. He looks for something that is good. So nations before us, they experienced things that we experience nowadays. So they were able to overcome some obstacles. So why don't we use the same tools? So the masjid, before you build expansion of the masjid, Salat al-Fajr. How many people comes here for Salat al-Fajr? Is it 50 people? 100 people? 500 people? No. So why don't you make the masjid a place where people come pray according to the local jama'ah, and give the back of the masjid, make it basketball court, make it football court, and when the day of Jum'ah comes, open that and let the jama'ah connect. It is very simple, since we don't have waqf, we don't have khalifa, we don't have state that can facilitate the need of the community. So that is the responsibility of the masjid. Third, the responsibility of the masjid is to get these youth, get them married. Somehow, we have to get them married. And that is what it is. We have, yet these young people, like it or not, the masjid must facilitate. What would you like? Boys and the girls meeting at the mall? Or the boys, nowadays, they don't even have to go to the mall. They can do FaceTime, boys. In her room, mashallah. خديجة يبحث سمعين سا هو يقرأ كما دخل سنية إيوه العمر ما شاء الله تبارك الله. Yes, because they don't have to go and meet where a public can see them. They can do on FaceTime, because each child, he has this. So what do you want them to do? You want them to be liars, fabricating the reality, giving you that, mashallah, in one accent, nice hijab, good boy, mashallah. But in his room, he's little iblis, mashallah, upgraded iblis. Is that what you want? Because that is the reality. That is the truth. So what the masjid, they have to facilitate. They have to find. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال يا معشر الشباب كما في حديث صحيح البخاري من حديث عبد الله بن مسعود يا معشر الشباب من استطاع منكم الباءة فليتزوج. Young people, whoever is capable of getting married, go get married. Go get married. But there was a system, Islamic system. There was a cultural system in the city of Medina. There was a wahi that's guiding the behavior of the young men and women. But we don't have that system. The wahi is still there, but the culture system is missing. The culture society is missing. The social aspect for that purpose to be achieved is missing. So what do? The masjid must step up and play the role that is necessary. Do you know? And I know Sheikh Muhammad Mawlid, Hafidahullah, Ali Mawlid, young men come to the masjid, wallah, and sometimes I feel bad. Sheikh, he said, I listen to Sheikh so-and-so, and I listen to Sheikh so-and-so, I read this book, I read that book, and they all saying, al-ikhtilat haram. Boys and girls should not talk. Boys and girls should not meet. It's fitna. There's a man and a woman. The third of the three is iblis. Ma khala rajulun bi imra'in illa kana shaytan. Is all true. It's all fact. It's all reality. So the boy say, how should I get married? How should I get married? How should I find a young lady? What should I say to him? FaceTime with his mashallah. Try to FaceTime with the girls, mashallah. I can't. So the masjid has to facilitate. And the masjid, every masjid should have some people who are specialized in that. Who knows the need of youth. The need of the youth. Who knows the need of these young people. Who would know what they're looking for. We had one of the masajid, and we pushed and pushed and pushed. And then one of the elderly, mashallah, he said, we create a committee to get, mashallah, young men and women get them married. One of the brothers said, he said, we need an older person, I have to come. So he came. So the first boy comes and he's sitting in the committee. And he looks at him. And he said, Adar gabar bandona. So he said, yeah, Adar, I'm looking for a young lady. Makasura, Adar, I'm giving you nasiha. I'm giving you advice. Gabar da marka doonaysid waan cuntada caynka loo kariya taqaan horta ma sha Allah. That is his priority. Everything that the boy is looking down. The boy is not saying anything. The boy is not responding. Tolkaaga u wanaagsan, heerka u wanaagsan, carruurta u wanaagsan, cuntada karin taqaana, guriga nadaafada, heerka wuxuu diri karta. Odayga, his mentality is all about Hargeysa iyo Muqdisho. Nothing to do with the reality. So when everything is finished, I went out with the boy and said, tell me, he didn't say much. What are you really looking for? He said, Sheikh, she has to be this number on this top. She has to be this number in the middle. She has to be this number. I said, what is this? IP number, IP number, computer number? What is it? But he understands. The Olego could not understand. So if you're doing this, you need to understand the mentality of the youth. See hadith al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Remember the beautiful story of Jabir. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was traveling with the Sahaba radiyallahu anhu. And in the middle of that night, the Messenger of Allah he hears someone who's struggling, but he does not know. قال من? قال جابر يا رسول الله. He said, who is it? He's in the middle of the darkness. He said, this is Jabir ya Rasulullah. قال ما بك? What is your problem? قال جملي, my camel is not listening. And then the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He went into the Jabir radiyallahu anhu, and he realized Jabir is pulling the camel, is pushing the camel, and the camel's like, I'm not going anywhere. So the Messenger of Allah said, give me your stick. So he gave him the stick. And then the Messenger of Allah gently, he tapped the camel. And the camel just jumped up, mashallah. And it's all full of energetic camel. And then the Jabir bin Abdullah, he got on it. And this camel became so fast. The camel became so fast. To the point that Jabir said, I was afraid that this camel would pass the camel of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then he said, the next time that we were resting, Messenger of Allah came to me. Now look, he knew this young man is single. فَقَالَ يَا جَابِرُ, did you get married? This is, what time is it? After Salah, around a little fire perhaps, just a summer. This is what we call Arab summer. Yeah. We're talking and the weather is very calm. The night is calm, nice breeze, cold, wind perhaps hitting their faces in the middle of the desert. It's beautiful. So the Messenger of Allah said, Ya Jabir, did you get married? قال نعم يا رسول الله. Yes, I got married. قال بكر أم ثيب. Said, did you get married to a woman that is thayyib? Been married before, or a young lady that was never married before? قال بالثيب يا رسول الله. She's been married before. Now, who is he talking to? Jabir, a young man, radiyallahu anhu. Who is talking? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He did not say, Ya Sheikh, I communicate with Jibreel and Allah. Listen, take your problem somewhere else. Listen, I am the Nabi. I am the... No, he's talking to this simple Sahabi radiyallahu. And then the Messenger of Allah said, why don't you marry a young lady who was never married before? تُلَاعِبُكَ وَتُدَاعِبُهَا. He said, why? Because, a young lady, they would play with you and you would play with them. She would tease you, you would tease her, mashallah. So we have fun, It's not like, astaghfirullah, alif lam mim, dhalika kitabun azim. It wasn't like that. The Messenger of Allah said, listen, she would play with you, you would play with her, have fun, All the women in his mind, he said, she already passed that stage, perhaps for your age. And Jabir said, Ya Rasulullah, my father left me with so many sisters. And I hated to bring someone of the age. Therefore, I married someone older than I, so she can mind them as well. Take care of them. And that's the message that smart. Smart. My point here is, the person who's dealing with the youth have to understand the mentality of the youth. There's someone who's dealing with the sisters. What if a sister comes and she said, Sheikh, mashallah, wahanduna inan gursado, hayya, mashallah, tabarakallah, what are you looking for? Mid-muruq yale, hayya. Nigeria will hood on doni America, inshallah. Because you can't find Somali with big muruq, mashallah. So we'll find for someone from, West Africa, Nigeria. If you want big muscles, then now I know what you're looking for. You need someone who can talk to them, can understand them. There's one of the brothers, mashallah, he's having difficulty of marrying the right sister. Why? Because his mindset is different than the mindset of the children who were raised in the West. Children who were raised in the West, their wahi is, movies, shows, TV, internet. Someone from Somalia, his understanding of a wife is different than understanding of a wife for a young man who was born and raised in the West. So the mentality has to click. The chemistry must be there first before we connect these two. So why this young man? He's one of the best young men that I ever met. Yet he cannot find, because he's looking for someone with a certain mindset. My point is, the community that is organizing this, facilitating this, they must have the mindset of, okay, understand what you're looking for. But at the same time, able to guide them Islamically. Not someone from outside and say, okay, now you've been dating all these girls and you just made tawbah, Bismillah, comes with this young man. No, it's not going to happen. So the masjid, we're talking about point number 3. What a masjid can do for young people must facilitate that for them. Number 4, a masjid must be a place that is open for the youth all the time. Every single time. From Salat al-Fajr to Salat al-Isha, the masjid should be for the youth. All the time. Don't restrict them. Wallahi, if the masjid can afford someone who can stay here overnight, I would say do it. If the masjid can really appoint someone who can stay here till Salat al-Fajr, as long as young men and young girls are here, can stay there. And I know by saying young girls, someone's like, well, wait a second, what about girls? But if someone can stay with these youth, it's worth it. And that's why in Sahih al-Bukhari, Abdullah ibn Umar, as a young man, he had home. His parents were in the city. But where did he used to sleep? In the Masjid al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He used to come. So forget about it. I don't want to stay home. I want to come to the masjid. What is in the masjid? Malaika, Rahmah. This is the house of Allah, most beloved place on earth. So when a young man spends most of his time here, at least you are in the house of Allah, is in his heart. At least, he will not do haram things. He will not smoke weed. He will not, sniff something, mashallah, tabarakallah. He will not drink anything in the premise of the masjid, because he have that hurma, that respect that he has for the masjid. This is what the masjid can do for the youth. The other thing, number 5, that the masajid do not do, is take the kids for field trips. Take them out. I know Sheikh Muhammad Ali Mawlid, they take them for Umrah, and other people they do in his city, mashallah, because they understand the need of the youth. Why? Why do I need to take these kids out of their environment? Why do I have to take them? Do I need to take them to a camp for a week or two, for Umrah a week or two? Because you will learn as a teacher, you will learn a great deal of who they are. You will learn what kind of personality, because that fake personality that they used to bring to the masjid, after a few days it will fade away. After a few days it will no longer be the same person. And then the teacher, the sheikh, the murabbi can correct this young man, can correct that young lady, can tell, okay, this is who you are. You spend 20 or 30 of you in the same vicinity for 2 weeks. Your true personality will come. Whether it's good or bad, it will shine out. Whether it's evil or righteous, evil or wicked, evil or wicked or righteous, it will shine out. So what do you need to shine through? Because the masjid has to do this. And then the masjid, based on this, they can also do other things. How many of you, look, you have right now, you have Sweden, you have Norway, you have Finland, Scandinavia. How many of the masajid have Muslim youth tournament? How many of the masajid, they say, no, we're not going to collect kids from the street. We want to take these beautiful young boys, mashallah, and of course the sisters in their terms, we take them out, and we're going to go and challenge, Abdul Rahman and his crew in Oslo. What do we need to do? Should we just go and, mashallah, put boxing gloves and knock them out and come back? No, we have program for them. There should be, recreation program. We're going to bring our football team, get your football team ready, and let us have a match. And let the community come. Let the mothers, mashallah, anjara, murawah, sabari, suhar, digag, barbecue, hamburger, hot dogs, let them come out. Subhanallah. Let they, have a kind of picnic. But you have people coming over. And at night, what do? You say, now, mashallah, physically we challenge them. They defeat us, or now let us defeat them with Islamic catch. So what do? You make sure, before you start with the program, you have brothers, mashallah, you have Sheikh Yasir, you have Sheikh Mahdi. You tell them, let us prepare this youth for a month. You deal with our Sheikh Muhammad Ali Mawlid, and for 2 months you prepare these kids, and you say, we want to have, a competition, Islamic competition in the seerah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in fiqh al-ibadat, in aqeedah, in hifd al-Quran, and then let the community come. Why? Because you need to create, as a message, you need to create excitement. If there's no excitement in their lives, why would they want to memorize 20 juz, 10 juz? Why would they want to memorize seerah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Why would they want to know the non-Muslim who was the guide of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq during the hijrah? If there's no excitement, why? Have you ever heard, what do you call all of these leagues? Barcelona, they play with this team. Arsenal, and they just play with this team. And at the end of the day, there's no point. No, there are points that they gain, they win or lose. At the end of the time, there's a champion. There's a league champion. There's some result. Now, unless the masajid create that for youth, the masajid are not doing service for the youth. They're not really holding it. Imagine, you went to Oslo, and Abdul Rahman, Sheikh Mustafa, he whipped you. Their team whipped you. They defeated you in a football. They defeated in Islamic questions and attributes. And they said, in 3 months, we're going to be coming to your city. What would you do in the city? Would you let them come and win on your soil? What would you do, boys? You get ready for them. But this is what the masajid needs to do. And they travel from one city to another, for one weekend to another. And that is what the service that the masajid can do for Muslim youth. Wallahi, having these activities, our children, they will not participate in selling drugs. They will not be in a juvenile, in prisons for young people. They will not be in a social system. None of that. They will be children who have goal to accomplish and to establish bi-idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I talk almost over 40 minutes, and I know boys and girls, you don't have that much attention span, so I will stop here bi-idhnillah. But I will open the floor for questions until Salatul Isha. And there is no question that's stupid. There's no question that is not important. Every question that you have, ask. And don't worry about your parents. And don't worry about the people. And don't say, if I ask this question, they will think of me this, because that is not how you will learn your deen bi-idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. جزاكم الله خير. سبحانه سبحانه بالعزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. As I said, boys and girls, there are no stupid questions. And there are no, unintelligent questions. Ask whatever you want to ask.
If someone will ask a question, it will be a question regarding to the topic of today. So, Sheikh said, don't ask stupid questions.
I said there's no question that's stupid. Every question is important. Okay, let them ask. if we can pay attention, inshallah.
I want to ask about the marriage. You were explaining about how the masjids have to help our brothers or sisters to get married. In what type of relationship can the masjid help those sisters who are not coming to the masjid, or some of the brothers who are not often in the masjid, or some of them who are in the masjid but are not fully ready for marriage? How can the masjid help those kind of people in our society?
In our society, first of all, anyone who is not ready for marriage, don't waste people's time. Because whether you are he or she, you are wasting someone else's time, resource, and you're playing with their emotions. Now, one of the things that the masjid, before these people come forward, they have to have a screening system. They have to see if this young man is really sincere about his approach or his quest. Is he really ready for marriage? If a young man comes and he says, Sheikh, I have no education, I have no job, I have nowhere to stay, but I'm looking for a wife, what would you say to that person? You kick him out of the masjid. And I'm just kidding by saying this, but you should not entertain a person like that. If someone says, I'm here just to entertain, if there's someone there, but I'm not ready yet, and I want to know if I may like someone, I want to see the sisters, and I want to see, that person is not ready. One of the mistakes at the masajid, and I'm not pinpointing this masjid, one of the mistakes that the masajid do with the young people is we preach to the musallin. We give da'wah to those who are already in the masjid. We tell someone to pray and we educate him about the importance of salah while he's in the masjid. Have you ever heard someone or seen someone after the salah he gets up and he talks about how important the salah is? It is true, every ayah that he used is correct. Every hadith that he's used is correct. But there's one thing that is missing. The people that he's preaching to, they already hear. So who needs da'wah? People who are outside. And that's why I don't support, again, I'm not against anything, but I don't support Islamic conference being held in the masjid. Why? Not because the barakah is not in the masjid, not because the masjid is not, no. I think there are a lot of young ladies out there with makeup, maybe tight jeans, maybe, with tight hijab. They don't feel they welcome in the masjid. They are afraid that the people will label them and will say, yes, old lady will say you have haya and changes. Those type of girls in public places, they will come and they will listen. And you were not sent. You were not sent as a person who should judge people. You were sent to deliver the message of Islam to the people in the most beautiful way. And you know how many, wallahi, I cannot count how many sisters who said, Sheikh, I came to a conference and I was not wearing hijab, or my hijab was very weak, or the brother who said, my girlfriend brought me here, or my boyfriend brought me here, and today she's wearing jilbab, the brother has sunnah beard, mashallah, and because why? We took the message from the masjid where the da'wah is needed, and we allowed them to come, because they said, don't preach to the believers, and we are preaching to the believers. So this is one of the things that the masajid needs to overcome. Now, next question.
Yeah. Next question will come from the ladies' shower. Dhalinyrada soo qoreen iyagu way ka xishoodaan inay hadlaan. They can write it down.
وأخري هبلة. The first question is in Arabic. سؤال في بعض المعلمين غير مؤمنين لتربية هذا الجيل فما هو قولك ورأيك؟ The question is, there are some non-Muslims who are engaged and involved in the upbringing of the upcoming generation. Is that allowed? Tarbiyah, we can divide into different sections. Tarbiyah, there's a difference between a ta'aleem and tarbiyah. And I need you to understand because the sister said بعد المعلمين. Muallim is a teacher. What is the job of the teacher? Deliver what he or she should be delivering to the students. Make sure the students understand the subject or understood the subject by giving them written tests or oral tests and assess the situation. Murabbi on the other side, and this is the public teachers, public schools, in any society. Murabbi on the other hand is completely different. Murabbi is someone who will teach that child, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, and he makes sure that the child understands قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ and lives it. So he makes sure that the boy, he's not making mistake in his approach, in his manners, in his behavior, in terms of the Islamic fundamentals and teaching. So if you have non-Muslim teachers who are teaching math, who's teaching other subjects, Islamically that's fine because al-ilm, if as long as you're learning the correct al-ilm al-nafi' la ba'sa bihi bi'idhnillah. However, if you have Islamic school where the Islamic Muslim children are learning from Muslim teachers, that's fine. In Canada, we have something called Catholic schools. Catholic Board of Education. Catholic Board of Education, for you to be a teacher, you have to be a Catholic. You won't be able to teach children unless you're Catholic. So the system allows you to have Islamic school and all the teachers are Muslims.
The next question is, how can a sister do da'wah? Give us tips, jazakallah khair.
The sister can give da'wah to the sisters. That is the first thing that we need to understand. We need to understand also da'wah is responsibility of everybody who's sitting here. Whether you're a da'iyah like Sheikh Muhammad, whether you're a student of knowledge, whether you're just a common Muslim, da'wah is your responsibility. Second thing is, da'wah, you should, brothers, boys, your da'wah should be for your race, for your gender, Sisters, da'wah should be for your gender. So sisters will give da'wah to the girls, and the boys would give da'wah to the non-Muslim boys. Unfortunately, the reality of what we live in North America, the biggest da'i, as I always say, people get a little bit itchy and sensitive and offended by me saying this. The biggest da'i is a ma'siyah. And that is the ma'siyat of zina. Majority of the girls in North America who accepted Islam, they accepted Islam because of a boyfriend. Because of a boyfriend. A lot of the non-Muslims who accepted Islam, they accepted Islam because of a girlfriend. But that is extremely unacceptable. Because of da'wah, if you want to give a da'wah, you have to give according to the Sharia of Islam. Now, what to give a da'wah? What are the tips? First, you yourself have to be a role model. That's number one. Because if you say Islam is this beautiful, Islam is this, but you not implementing that, then whatever you're telling them will not resonate, will not sink. Not at all. So first, you have to be a role model. You have to be a person of decency. You have to be a person of honesty. You have to be a person of truthfulness. You have to be a person of such. Number two, you have to learn tadarruj fi da'wah. You don't talk about, as the brothers mashallah said, you talk about, why we have 4 wives, why 4 wives allowed in Islam. Why jihad is important. Why the Sharia is must. You don't talk about this. You let the person first learn the basics of Islam, which is there's only one God. Wallahi. You know how many? I think 90%, if it's not 95% of the people that I gave shahad, that I gave da'wah, I only speak to them about Allah. When he agrees with me, yeah, I agree there's a creator. I agree that this is rational and acceptable. I agree. I said, okay, now we start. Now you are 50% Muslim. 50%. Now what do you know about Muhammad? I don't know about Muhammad. Then I tell him what Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is all about. The miracles that he showed us. And then I said, do you believe a man like that can be a liar? I say, no, he can't. Do you believe someone like that can be a prophet of Allah? Definitely. I said, well, that's another 50%. Now you're Muslim 100%. So what should I do? Say, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And then he becomes a Muslim, she becomes a Muslim. So you need to learn at-tadarruj, steps, which is awwal shay al-aqidah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, basics of Islam, the connection between that person, purpose of that person and Allah, the purpose of his existence. These are the steps that you do. Number 3, when you answer questions of a non-Muslims, do not go into ikhtilaf. Don't say, according to Hanafi they said this, according to Shafi'i they said this, according to Maliki. Otherwise we say, wait a second, Christianity is better. You guys have the same issue that we have, so why am I coming to this? Don't go. Number 4, don't be rigid in giving da'wah. Don't say to them, sister, if you don't wear hijab today after you become a Muslim, your Islam is not. But brother, if you don't pray right now, Islam does not count. I'm not saying these are not important, don't get me wrong. When a person accepts Islam, he should start praying. But you should not scare them. You should tell them 5 pillars of Islam. You should tell them the beauty of Salah. You should tell them, you connect with your Lord 5 times a day. You communicate with your Creator 5 times a day. You talk to Him 5 times a day. He himself, her herself, will want to do this. You tell the benefit of fasting. What are the benefits of fasting? You put yourself in the shoes of someone who has nothing, and you abstain from food, drinking, enjoying yourself for the sake of you understand. This is one of the benefits. So you talk about that. I love Hajj because almost everything about Hajj is about Ibrahim alayhi salam. It-tawaf, Ibrahim. Rami al-jamarat, Ibrahim. Slaughtering, Ibrahim. Safa wa Marwa, Hajj. It's the family. So when you talk about Hajj, they were like, oh, so Islam is not something new. No, it's not something new. So you gotta learn at-tadarruj in Islam. So these are the tips that you start with. Number 5, I will say, take your time in giving da'wah. Don't expect that you will give da'wah, and tomorrow she will say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, and he would be here for Salat al-Fajr. That is not the case. Wallahu a'lam wa a'lam.
Next question will come
From the brothers?
Bismillah. I prefer Somali, inshallah, because the majority is Somali. Sheikh, and waxaan isleeyahay shayuukhda naftirkooda ayaa wax yar mooda inay u baahan yihiin xoogaa in lagu sameeyo upgrading. Hadda u fiirsad shayuukhda oo iska yara daalan yihiin, culeyskooda wuu sii koreeyaa, caafimaadkooda wuu sii liitaa. Badanaa magaalada ay degan yihiin xitaa garan maayaan, magaalada naftirkeeda garan maayaan. waxaa laga yaabaa adresyada iyo systemka waddanka jirna aanay garanayn, luuqadii la garan maayo. Marka inankii yaraa in loo keenay dee maba isfahmayaan, inantii yarada isma fahmayaan. Scandinaviankan aan joogno badanaa English lagama hadlo, luuqad khaas leeyihin. Marka waddamada Englishka lagaga hadlo waxaa laga yaabaa inuu macalinku xoogaa u yar yaqaano berigii Soomaaliya kusoo bartay xoogaa iyo private schools iyo waxaas. Laakiin halkan waa luuqad aad iyo aad ugu duwan. Mushkiladda ugu weyn marka taa weeye. Marka macalinkiiba hadduu xanuunsanayo ama waxba fahmayn, dee meesha maxaa ka soo baxay? waxba kama soo baxay. Midda kale wax kaloo cajiib oo jirta, habkan aan mutamarka u samaynay iminka kii 25aad baa dhabarkaaga ku qoran. Habkan aan u samaynay waa habkii xaawiya aadan oo kale. Waxaan ka wadaa waqtiyadii hore in qofka 5 saacadood halkaa uu fadhiyo, pause male, break male, waxyaaba xayeysiin xitaa lama soo dhexgelinayo qofku yar miska. kaftan yar xitaa male. Inankiina iskuul wuxuu tegayaa 30 daqiiqaba kaftan yar iyo inuu laga hadlo jaarlamaysada iyo wax kale la sameeyey wax lamida. Waxaa u malaysaa Stone Age. Okay, marka talad okay waaye. Waxaa iska yara sensitive laakiin dib ma laha, iska dulqaad. Waxaad yara moodaa in muxaadarada Sheikh ay u badneed macallimiinta sidii maaragtay wax looga bedeli lahaa, sidii wax u gudbiyaan. Marka aan talo waxaan kusoo jeedin lahaa habka mutamarka inaan maanta wixii ka dambeynaa aan bedelno habab casriya, adduunka waxa ka jira oo garanaysaan, iyo maxaa la yidhahdaa culimmada naftirkooda loo naxariisto, ay noqdaan culimo soo nasatay, cunto fiican soo cuntay, soo yara nasatay, hoteel fiican la geeyey, banaanada loo saaray, magaalada la fahamsiiyey, iyo xitaa say iyaga naftirkooda image u helaan, view u helaan, beri dadka wax u sheegaan dee ku kordhiyaan. Marka barakallahu fiikum, iska ralahaada. Assalaamu calaykum waraxmatullah.
I'll translate the Sheikh, Jazakallah khair, Dr. Ahmed. He said, it seems that the teachers, they need little upgrading. And I think he's being very modest. He's being very modest. I think they really, really need new software, new hardware. They need complete reset. Complete in an upgrade kit. Not only, it's not little, they need 100%. And I don't know if you were here on Thursday, I spoke about the same thing that you were speaking about, which is the way we're doing same thing, the things, the old-fashioned. And I told them, I said to everybody, first Islamic conference that I participated was 1994. As a young man, I was helping Sheikh Mustafa Harun and his crew. And the methodology and the system that we used in 1994 is exactly. Allahumma, the only difference that we have now, pictures of the shield on the poster. That's the only upgrade that we have done since 1994. And I mentioned that, you know, my communication or my interaction with the Somali community is limited. However, I do go different places where you have non-Somali, and I see how things are done. And when I come back, it's like someone who was driving, you know, 2017 BMW. And then you take me back to 1994, you know, Corolla Yara Mashallah Sila. You go back because the system is over there yet. So what we need to do, we need to change. Like you're absolutely right. In our conferences, we have advertisements, we have entertainers. And entertainers. I remember when I had Sheikh Muhammad Ali Mawlid was there. Yeah. So it was, I think, 2011, something like that. Journey of Faith. So I brought Ahmed Bukhari, you know, Munshi. And everybody loved. And the sisters like, Allahu Akbar, and the brothers wait. Oday Akbar ya Somali, ayaa yidhi, waa Saciid. وما Sheikh that anaguna Sahra Ahmed baanu keensan lahayn. He said, you should have told us we would also bring our own singer. You know? Mentality is waxa weeye, what is he doing? He's a munshi. Okay, anaguna Sahra Ahmed baanu doonayna. So the mentality have to change. You have entertainers, you have videos, you have community members who will come and address some social issue. It's the same thing. So yes, the masajid, they need to upgrade themselves. No doubt. And how can they do this? By really stepping down and let these young people use their mind. They're very creative, very intelligent, and they're capable of running everything smooth. All you need, and all I need, is to make sure that we already did this, it's not working, don't do it. Do it differently. That's the nasiha. The other thing, Sheikh Mustafa Haran 1994, we never took him to a hotel. We use the same system till today, mashallah. Till today. Nothing has changed. So we have to change. You want these people? Yes. They can do it, and they can make the change bi-idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How much time do we have?
Time's up now.
Time is up.
Now, that was the last question. Last question. Thank you, Sheikh.
Yeah, brothers, we have, Assalamu alaikum, we have tons of questions, and these are only from the sisters. These are only from the sisters. So, no, Sunday, I will answer these questions after my lecture, inshallah, which is Akhlaq al-Da'iyah. I will answer, inshallah, I will try to summarize it, the lecture as much as I can, and I will answer some of these questions bi-idhnillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.